All right, power by healing still on this one for. I've only got a few more, but I'm telling you, it's not exhaustive in any way, shape, or form. That really tells me that there's such a big need for healing. Okay. When you look at it and say there's A, B, C, D, all the way to ZZ top, no, all the way when you go through the alphabet and go through it the second time, A, B, B, all the way to ZZ top at the end. So anyway, but understand this, man is limited to healing by his knowledge. And I'm going to go a step further. Man doesn't heal a lot. Now, there are some things, most of the time, I think my doctor even said, he goes, now we're dealing with the symptoms, we're not dealing with the problem. And a lot of times that's what man does, is that he deals with the symptoms that we have and not the source of the problem. A lot of times the problem is just, if I just get out and I mentioned before how I let it go, this illness I let me say that, illness I had, or I was, how shall I say it? My buddy said it best, illness I was diagnosed with. Had I got out and done some things, like I said, I neglected myself. Had I done some things, I could have hit this off earlier, not just naturally, but spiritually also. And I did try, a little bit of both, but not as intense as I needed to. I needed to just deal with it, and I didn't. I didn't want to, being honest. Didn't want to deal with it. So, had I done some things, I could have prevented this. And it's the same in, honestly, it's not something that doctors can do. It's something I can do. And even with doctors and their knowledge, and medical science is limited to what it can do. And like I said, most of the time it just deals with the symptoms. Even when you get radiation treatment for cancer or something, that's not a guarantee. They'll tell you, say, this works this percentage of the time and this doesn't work this percentage of the time. I think it was, who was it? Dodie Osteen, when she was diagnosed with cancer. They said it was a slim chance of it, I think, or it wasn't going to work, whatever. And this was back in the early 80s. I think the advances have gone further where it does or whatever, but she had her only source for a miracle was a miracle. It wasn't man's knowledge and wisdom, it was God. So man is extremely limited, okay? Now, am I saying don't go to the doctors? By all means, don't. Because sometimes, even in my case, listen, my faith is limited, okay? If my faith was so great, I wouldn't have been in the situation in the first place, but that's not the truth. My faith's not that great. I am standing on God, for this, that, and the other. There's even a scripture in Revelations when Jesus talking to one of the churches, he said, you had a little strength. And I'm like, God, I have a little strength. I just have very little strength, And, we've tried A, B, and C with medical science, and even medical science doesn't work. Hey, I talked about migraines I had. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was taking, we're talking a couple of times a day. I was taking, the maximum of ibuprofen and extra strength Tylenol I could take in a day, separated by so many hours, and I was still having problems. I mean, it was just excruciating pain. So you can do everything medical science wants you to do or suggest, and you can still, it's still not work. Even the little things like a headache, you know, that's when you have to really put your faith out there and say, okay, you know, I'm going to meditate on the word. I'm going to concentrate and meditate on this. And that's when your faith starts to grow. When you know, hey, medical science has done all it can do. But when I'm sitting there and I'm still in pain after medical science, I know medical science is going to fix this problem I have. So I just sit there and just meditate and ponder on it and think, and trust me, it worked for me. The word worked when medical science wasn't. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. And now all I do is just sit there and ponder and think about it and ponder it. Okay? I don't want to go into detail on all that, but you got to meditate on the word for it to work and speak the word. Anyway, medical science, man is limited to healing by his knowledge. Okay? You should understand that. I'm not saying don't use it. You do what you have to. You get better. You do, do it, everything you can. If you don't feel comfortable doing a procedure, don't do it. If you have no answers, just keep going. Okay? So, listen, be blessed and be encouraged.